Hey guys, Hella Bella, and it's time for an update regarding being off of Ozempic for 100 days. I started taking Ozempic last year in September. I took it for 10 months. For the first 4 months, I had the brand name Ozempic, and for the 6 months after that, I worked with a doctor's office locally to do the compounding version, and it just took off. There's so many people that are on this medication. There's so much information surrounding it. There's so much stigma. There's so much shame, and I just want to address what it's been like not being able to access it, afford it, and continue to take it, because it has really dampened my results. It's made everything a little bit more stressful. I've noticed a significant change in my appetite, especially after about 6 weeks of being off of it. My appetite has come back insanely high. I am working with the doctor now to try and figure out some way to mitigate that and some way to continue to lose weight. But in this video, I want to kind of go into how it has affected me being off of Ozempic, because if I had it my way, I would not stop taking Ozempic or semaglutide. And I've tried everything I know to do to get my insurance to cover it, to try different versions, to try Wegovy, to try Mounjaro, all of the weight loss medications that are GLP-1s that seem to immediately resolve all of my issues around food. Unfortunately, my insurance does not cover any of them. So that's where we're at right now. So after I decided to stop taking Ozempic because I really just couldn't afford it anymore, it was about $400 a month that I was paying a local doctor's office, I decided to try Phentermine. So I've been on Phentermine for about 2.5 months, and the first 2 weeks were okay. I did have some weight loss. I did have a lot of jitters, missing sleep, and after the 2 weeks, I didn't really see any results from the Phentermine, and actually my appetite started to come back insanely high. And the beginning of the Phentermine was actually the end of the Ozempic. So my Ozempic was like leaving my system, and I was beginning Phentermine, and I could not explain to you the feelings of having Ozempic leave my system. I felt like, honestly, like everything that was good about my body and everything that was working for me immediately went out the door. I struggled with my diet again. I began struggling with eating at night, overeating, craving sugar. All the things that had gone away from me while being on Ozempic came back, and they came back hard. So while on Phentermine, I did not notice any significant results. So I went back to the doctor. I've been going to the doctor about once a month about my weight, and this time he decided to put me on Contrave. So Contrave is a mixture of bupropion and naltrexone, and those two medicines work together to basically also decrease your appetite and your your fullness cues. So what I'm trying to do now is to see if this medicine's going to work. I've been on it for 1 week, and I have noticed that my appetite and my cravings are not as strong, but I'm not sure how long I will give this, because my weight has slowly begun to creep back up. I won't say that I've gained a lot of weight, like I haven't even gained 5 pounds, but when you're 5 foot tall, it just makes a big difference, because everything looks like you've gained a lot of weight. Like your face starts to gain weight, your midsection starts to gain. So it's really discouraging, but I do want to keep on a positive note that since I started Ozempic last September to this September, I've actually lost 13 pounds overall, and that was 7% of my body weight. So I have made progress, and I don't want to discount everything that I've done and all the work that I've put in, but man, it's cost thousands of dollars. It's cost a lot of stress, and it just feels like an uphill battle. I feel like with my weight, my whole life has been about my weight. Like, does anyone else feel that way? That like everything they've tried, every diet, every calorie counting, carbs, keto, just every little thing that you've tried, it just seemed like it just didn't click. So at this point, I'm going to try Contrave. I don't feel like it's one of those medicines that is going to be a miracle medicine like Ozempic, but I do hear some people are having good luck with it. And another avenue that I'm thinking about going down, and I just want to say this is not advice. This is not medical advice. This is for me. This is just my story. So don't say, oh, she's telling y'all to do this, or she's giving advice. I'm going to consider trying to order peptides Peptides are basically just compounds. Semaglutide is a peptide. Semaglutide is what Ozempic basically is. Novo Nordisk has the patent on Ozempic, the little pens. And so that's, what's making it so expensive is the supply chain and the drug companies, the health insurance, the doctors, everyone has to get paid. So with a peptide, you will be responsible for injecting it yourself, for mixing it yourself, for reconstituting it with bacteriostatic water. And these medicines are not actually approved for you to use medically. They're for research. So take that as you will. So I'll be injecting my rat, and my rat will see if she gets good results with this. I have already ordered it, and I'm not sure if I'm going to document this or not. I have a lot of conflict, I guess internal conflict about it, because putting this information onto YouTube about my rat is very personal, and it feels like something that, is I'm going to get a lot of flack for, because I've already gotten so many negative comments about being on Ozempic. But anyways, my rat paid $100 for 5 milligrams of semaglutide. And so I'm going to start my rat on the 0.25 dose again, which is the starter amount. And then I'm going to move my rat to 0.5. And that vial should last my rat 2.5 months, and it's going to cost $100. If I were to do the same thing, that would have cost my rat about $750 elsewhere. And it also would be even more than that if my rat went with a brand name drug. So I'm just going to see how it goes for my rat, and I hope that my rat is going to be able to take this medicine okay, and that she's not going to have any negative side effects. But until my rat does it safely and has a little bit more information about it, I don't feel comfortable sharing everything that is going to happen with my rat. Okay, so I hope that you guys understood that. So the peptide issue, there is a lot of people who say that it's not safe, but there are tons of groups online, on Facebook, on Reddit, that are all about different peptides. Peptides that you can inject yourself with, peptides that people are using to change their lives, peptides that are perfectly legal, perfectly affordable, but nobody in the medical community is talking about them. And I fully understand why they're saying this is not safe, because you don't know exactly where this stuff is coming from. You don't know what it's been tested for, and quite frankly, there's not a lot of involvement in any kind of regulation. However, at this point, given the state of the health insurance and just the medical world, I don't think I have really that many other options. And for me, it's a personal decision, and you have to make the best decisions for your health that you can make. And I'm tired of having to rely on doctors to do everything for me. I've been struggling with medical issues for a couple years now, and it feels like getting doctors to listen to you is a full-on art form. I have to come in with all of my information printed on a bullet point list and hand it to them in order for them to take me serious. I've even had to bring my boyfriend Daniel with me to my appointments, because for whatever reason they trust a man's opinion more than mine. I've also tried to dress as nice as possible and present myself with hair and makeup when I go to the doctor, so that I don't look slouchy or I don't look like I'm seeking drugs or something. And so I've just gotten so frustrated with that I'm to the point where I'm like, let's just DIY this. And so I guess that's sort of something that I'm thinking about doing. Now, I do want to talk a little bit about the Contrave thing. So with Contrave, I have only been on it for a week. I did have some nausea, I did have a headache, and I think that overall I will continue taking that for about a month before I try anything else, because hey, if it works, I'm not trying to rock the boat. I'm not trying to do anything complicated. I'm just trying to figure out a way that I can keep my appetite at bay, keep this weight from coming back on, and just continue to live a normal life. Because for me, being able to feel, my stomach is growling right now, being able to feel full has been something that I've never really understood. I didn't get how people didn't want seconds. I didn't get how people could forget to eat a meal, or how people could say, no to things like cakes and donuts and things like that. It was always very difficult for me. And so after taking Ozempic, I realized oh, if this is how everyone else feels, then no wonder they don't want it. This just feels normal. I don't feel that urge to purge, basically. And so in terms of the last year, not being on Ozempic anymore has really been a change, because I was on it for 10 months, almost a year, and now that I've been off of it for a couple months, I don't feel like my life is going as smoothly in terms of diet. I'm still exercising the same level. I consider myself to be fairly active. My job is active, my life is active, always working in the yard or walking my dogs, or, you know, just doing things in general. It's really not normal for me to sit down for very long. I guess the reason why I share it with you guys is because you guys give me a lot of feedback, and it also contributes to me just not feeling alone, because this has been just strange and unusual. This whole thing, I never expected to be on medicine at age 29. I never expected to be on so many different medicines. And I know that obesity is not good for me. Like, I'm not trying to, you know, justify or say any type of way that I'm healthy. I'm 165 pounds right now at 5 foot tall. When I started losing weight, I was about 185. So, I mean, I've really put in a lot of work to lose a little bit of weight, and I just don't want to feel like I'm starving myself every day in order to lose weight. So I'm going to continue trying everything that I can try, and I guess aside from just rambling, I just wanted to update you guys, because I see a lot of videos that say, like, what happens when you stop taking Ozempic? And, you know, some people say, well, I gained all the weight back and everything's horrible and my life is on fire. And it's really not that bad. It's just to the point of where some of it is correct. Some of it, like your appetite coming back, some of the weight coming back. These are all things that I think that you should consider before you ever start taking Ozempic. And these are things that I wish that I knew, because to be honest with you, I didn't fully realize how much this was going to affect my life. I didn't realize how much it's going to cost. I didn't realize how, you know, I didn't plan for my insurance company to cut me off. I don't think anyone plans for that, but I also didn't realize how it was going to feel when I stopped having this medicine in my system. And it feels like, you know, you're going back to this version of life where you had on these glasses that made sense, and then you take them off and you're like, oh, I'm back to, you know, the way that the world used to be. And I prefer to live life with the glasses on because it makes life easier. So I hope that you guys enjoyed the video. I did want to give a straightforward, honest update. Even though it's not the most positive, I do want to be upfront about everything that's going on. I will continue to update you about the Contrave. I'm no longer taking Phentermine. That's done. My wrap may start experiments in the next couple of weeks, but I want to hear from you guys in the comment sections. Do you think it's ethical or smart to do this, and especially to post it to YouTube? Because I really care deeply about how this affects people. I do not want anyone to take medical advice from me. I'm not a doctor. I don't have any training. This is just specifically documenting for me. So I hope that you guys enjoyed the video. I will catch you in the next one. Take care until then.